So I wanted to quickly share my thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day. As you can see, I'm out on vacation now, so the setting is a little bit different here. But as one of the biggest movies of the year, the weekend just ended. I saw it back on Friday, Saturday-ish actually. No, I think I did see it on Friday. I saw it on Friday, but I couldn't get my thoughts out because we were too busy packing for this vacation. I'm on vacation. I still want to go out there and share my thoughts on it, and so I know I'm a little late to posting this review, but I still want to share my thoughts on it. And so down below in the comment section, share what you thought of Spider-Man Brand New Day over on my channel. There's more content like this. Check those out once this video is over. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe because that really does help a lot. With all that said, let's just get straight into it, talking about the good aspects of the film. Kind of just probably going to do this in one singular take here. I think that this is the best out of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies pretty easily. This is not recency bias, I don't think, because I've had a couple days to sit on the film. I've had a couple of days to sit on the film, and even when No Way Home came out, which I really enjoy No Way Home, great theater experience, but it's more of a theater experience great than an actual movie that's great. With Brand New Day, I think it is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and what it does so well is that it takes all the elements from every different Spider-Man movie from previously and just does the best version of it. I think I'm not saying it's the best Spider-Man movie. That's it, but it is in the conversation there, and I think everything in it just works so well, much better than it did in the previous Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And it really surprised me how much I actually did enjoy this film, given that I was a little bit of a skeptic going in with the trailers and then the MJ Ned bring back. But they found a way to do all of this with the Punisher, the whole, and do it in a way that I think really, really, really worked. It takes the best elements of every Spider-Man movie. So it has the web slinging and the visuals of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think has some great visuals. The suit looks great, and CGI looks great. And so I think it takes that web slinging dynamic in TASM 2 and applies it to this film, which I just think it works really, really well here. And it makes it look a lot more dynamic. An important thing to note here is that with the John Watts Spider-Man Home Trilogy, it was a lot of CGI. Here, you could see the behind the scenes where they did the more practical. They had Jackie Chan stunt coordinate stuff like that, and they did practical web slinging and things like that. And it all just feels so much more tangible in this film than it ever did in the Home Trilogy, really. And that's what I think really, really worked about this film. And because it's practical, like the action is more tangible, you feel every hit in the action. It looks like you're looking at something that's right there because they didn't use a whole bunch of CGI like the Home Trilogy did. It's practical stunt work for the web slinging, for everything going on, and that's what I really, really, really enjoyed about it. And it's a movie that still feels just as, if not more dynamic than the Home Trilogy's action sequences. And the movie just also has a fantastic story, which I think is the best story of the four Tom Holland Spider-Man films. First of all, I mean, it's just Tom Holland being normal Spider-Man. The main criticism of this iteration of Spider-Man is that previously he's just never been in New York doing classic Spider-Man stuff. We've brought in the multiverse, he's off in Europe, we're doing all this other stuff with him, and it never felt like he was actually doing classic Spider-Man stuff in New York. Here, it actually does feel like he's doing classic New York stuff, where he's interacting with the city and the police, he's well known by the community, you see the kids cheer for him, he just feels like classic Spider-Man here more than he ever has in the previous Spider-Man films. And there's a very compelling internal conflict with the character. Kind of, a lot of people are drawing comparisons from this and Spider-Man 2, and I wouldn't say that's a bad comparison. Here he's changing, he's getting more organic webs, and he has to learn how to adapt it, and his experience changes. The way Spider-Man 2 was kind of the opposite, where he went from organic webs to just no webs at all, no powers. And it's very reminiscent, and it found a way to do this in a way that, like, I think really worked, made sense for the character. It's the strongest sense of, like, New York City, obviously, in the film. Like, you feel like you're in New York in this one more than you do in the previous Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. And I think that setting just amplifies it to this whole other level than that trilogy did. And it's emotionally about kind of what the Across the Spider-Verse and some other Spider-Man movies, like Spider-Man 2, once again, what it's about thematically. Where there's a fly nearby. I'm trying to get it out of the way, but that's a little bit of a fun thing here. A fly flew in my face while talking about Spider-Man, but as I was saying, the emotional internal conflict is just really, really, really compelling and reminiscent of Spider-Man 2, and it's emotionally about kind of the loneliness and the sacrifices that you have to make and what your duty is and what you want, like what your desires are. It has all of this internal conflict that's also kind of reminiscent of a little bit of Across the Spider-Verse, but also Spider-Man 2 at the same time. And I think that's an emotional beat that just always works in these Spider-Man films. And it can lead to some very emotional character moments all throughout the film. With Peter, with our villain here. Well, our villain was kind of secret. I'm sure you all know who the villain is by now, but that's just a real. I think it's the most like actual character based, the best at the character work than any of the previous Spider-Man movies. And I keep trying comparison, but it is just simply better than those movies. Add to that, we get our side characters here, the Punisher being one of our main ones. He's actually more prominent in the movie than I would have expected, but in a really, really fun way. Where he has this great, like, little fun dynamic with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but never in a way that feels like the Punisher is overtaking his screen time or stealing the show. He's obviously a big standout character, but he never feels like he's stealing the show, and that's what I like about the character. And his interactions are very funny with Peter. I just really, really enjoyed that aspect. And I think even with some of the Hulk stuff, Hulk doesn't play a major part in this film or anything like that. He gets a big action sequence. I think that the action sequence with the Hulk is the best version of the Hulk that we've seen in the entire MCU since the Incredible Hulk back in 2008. Like this savage Hulk that's just pounding people. I wish he kind of didn't need to be there, but I really, really do love that the Hulk was in this film and being as rageful as he is in it. And so the side characters never overshadow Peter and what the actual story is about. And it had so many moments in it, because you care about the story, because you care about the characters. There were so many moments where my theater was breaking out into applause, and rightfully so, because this movie is just awesome. And it shows that, fly in my face again, it shows that Marvel might be back. Like, I've been very disappointed with the MCU and their choices since Endgame. I loved Spider-Man Brand New Day. And so, on to the negative aspects, so let's just move on to the bad. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. Like, I loved watching this film. If I had to say what the bad was, like, I think the antagonists here, Jean Grey and Trammell Tillman's character, are a little bit weaker here than some of the other Spider-Man villains. I think Jean Grey is a good. I will put spoiler in the title of this video just to yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I just realized I spoiled it. But Jean Grey and Trammell Tillman's character, like, they're fine villains. They're good villains. But I don't think that they're quite as strong as some of the other Spider-Man villains. And, you know, like, we've gotten so many other Spider-Man villains in this rogue gallery that we've not seen adapted into live action. And our first one in a while, the first live action Spider-Man movie in 5 years has Jean Grey as the villain. Like, not really the biggest, not really the biggest fan of that idea. I do think Sadie Sink does a good job. I do think Jean Grey is handled well, but there's this thing where, like, it kind of portrays her as a hero when she's definitely not a hero in the film. And so that's why I think there was a weakness there. I still think she's good. And then Trammell Tillman is just not as fun as he is in, like, some other stuff in, like, Severance. And so, but other than that, this movie is just a really, really solid Spider-Man movie, and this is exactly what I wanted to see from Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Overall, I'll give it an A, but those are just my thoughts on it. I think it's one of the best MCU movies in a while. Down below in the comment section, share what you thought of Spider-Man Brand New Day over on my channel. There's more content like this. Check those out right now. Take care of yourself for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next one.